All right, welcome to another episode of MicroShiner's Life Distilled. I'm here today with Lindsay Musco at Fathia Vineyards here in Kenwood, California. And we have quite the spread in front of us. We are going to be doing a little wine tasting, pairing those wines with donuts. I'm super excited. This is going to be fun. But today is going to be a little different as well. Lindsay is going to be interviewing me a little bit. And she is here because she is the owner?
Yeah, owner-founder.
Owner-founder of Poppy Vine, which is an online magazine. And will you be going into print?
No, that's not the idea. We'll strictly be an online magazine focused on the hospitality industry for local and local craft brands.
Okay. So yeah, let's go into your story a little bit first before we dive into mine, I guess. What made you start this?
So I am a 15-year hospitality professional, and prior to my professional career, my second job was behind the counters at a pastry shop here in Santa Rosa called Cafe de Croissant, and originally wanted to be a pastry chef, moved into hospitality management, and have been doing that ever since. And then being a fourth generation Sonoma Countyan, I was ready to try and figure out how to give back to the community and really showcase everything that it had to offer and just show people why they should love it, why they should keep coming and visiting. And so that's how Poppy Vine was born. It was kind of tying those two things together and showcasing everything that the area has to offer.
Absolutely. No, this area has so much to offer. So where did you moved and came back, I presume?
Yes.
Right? So what's your little story? How did that, or not little,
yeah.
But what's your story? How did that happen? Why?
So I think a lot of people who are from here kind of at 18 are really itchy to get out, and because they feel like there's something going on. And so I left at 18. I went away to college. I went to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and lived in Vegas for 4.5 years, studied hospitality, and quickly realized that California was for me, specifically the North Bay. And I was like, how do I get back? I landed a job with Fairmont Hotels and Resorts in San Francisco, and was with them for overall almost 10 years, doing front of house and back of house. Landed in procurement, really found a passion for that because it was like the best of both worlds. It was the kitchen, which I enjoyed, like the nitty gritty of it, and then vendor management, working with other outside vendors and building those relationships. And so that was a lot of fun. Worked for the Culinary Institute up in St. Helena. Went back first with Fairmont and went down to San Diego actually for about a year. And in that year, a lot of stuff happened up here at home, and I really felt like this is where I needed to be, and I knew this is where I wanted my roots to be. And San Diego was a lot of fun. I had a great time in the year that I was there, but I also felt like I was going to wake up at, like in 10 years and be like, whoa, how did I just stay right here? And so after that, I ended up in a startup food company in San Francisco, and then kind of saw the writing on the wall with that one, and was able to move into another startup company, which is where my 9 to 5 is my daytime job. Mm-hmm. And I work for a food startup company in Oakland as their procurement manager, and really wanted to start to focus on what was next for me. And that's kind of how Poppy Vine was born.
Very cool. So you went to school in Vegas?
I did.
Wow. Okay. No,
yeah.
That's still fun. Awesome. So you wanted to be a chef?
I wanted to be a pastry chef.
Pastry chef? Okay.
Donuts.
Hence the donuts. Right on. Okay. That's a lot of fun.
And cooking is still my passion. Like I love it. It's like my ultimate favorite thing to do. Right. But I wanted really it to be more of my passion and things I wanted to share with my friends and my family. And I didn't think at the time I really wanted to turn it into a career. I of course had like grandiose ideas of what that could be nowadays, so who knows? I won't rule anything out pretty much.
Okay. So, I mean, you kind of touched base on it, but I guess let's dive into the why Poppy Vine. Why pursuing in these small businesses?
I really wanted to showcase local craft brands and hopefully help increase like foot traffic to them. The big guys are the big guys and they get great attention, and you see busloads of people pulling up to them every weekend, you know.
Right.
And I feel like the smaller guys kind of get missed, and I really wanted an opportunity to show them and show what they're doing. They're creating beautiful things, whether that's food or beverages or experiences, hotels. There's a lot of older properties that are being renovated and are really cool and should be checked out, but people miss them. And so that's really the focus on the online hospitality piece. And then on the secondary side of it, there's the hope that we'll be doing some brand management and curated tours and experiences for people that are either new to visiting or just looking for a fresh take on the area.
Oh, that is good. I mean, first, okay, I don't want to ruin any questions, but it's, I mean, so yeah, that's one of my things. I started off, my story's long too, but I was behind the bar mainly. That's how it always started. I started managing bars. Yeah, definitely. Cool. And that was the thing. People would always come in and ask me, what winery do I need to go to? And I would never say the big guys. I would always try to push them towards the smaller brands, the people that you're sitting there tasting with the winemaker, you know, things like that. That's way more of an more intimate experience that I want. Yeah. And I want other people to experience that as well. So I get it. And that's kind of how it started with me, but let's try some of this wine first.
Yeah,
let's dive in.
And actually, to your point, Fathia Vineyards, prior to Matt, who's behind the bar working here, the winemaker owner was behind the bar. Yeah. And I agree, most of these tasting rooms, the smaller tasting rooms you're going to find around the area, are off the beaten path, and are usually family owned and operated.
Very cool. So do these go in order, Matt?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Viognier then. Okay.
So the first one with both of these.
Okay.
And so this first donut is a pistachio sage, and then a good old traditional apple fritter in the back.
Okay. So for those of you who are watching this podcast, Matt is Lindsay's fiance. He's dancing around in the background. But yeah, so if you can't hear him, if you're listening to the podcast, then yeah, sorry. Okay.
Don't mind me while I eat.
Right? Now let's dive in. I like to eat right into the microphone. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fun. How did the pecan?
I did the apple fritter first, and I was very happy with it. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah. It's kind of morning time here, so we're diving in on a little breakfast and wine. And that was always a joke of mine, like, yeah, we love our wine so much, we pour late harvest wine on our pancakes, you know?
You totally could.
Yeah, definitely.
It'd be delicious, actually.
I'm gonna try apple fritter. Yeah.
That's a hard one. I'm not sure which taste I prefer.
2015 Viognier from Mendocino. They're having a tough time up there right now.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
I think I like the pecan. What is that, pecan sage? Pecan?
Pistachio.
Pistachio, my bad.
Pistachio sage, and I agree.
Pistachio sage.
That one is my preferred.
Apple fritter is awesome, but...
Yeah, I do. I think the first one's a better match.
Yeah. So yeah, let's dive into some of your questions.
Okay. So, are you originally from Sonoma County?
Okay, so my story goes like this. I was born in Orange County.
Okay.
I moved up to Sonoma the town of Sonoma, when I was in first grade.
Oh.
So yeah, pretty young. So grew up in Sonoma. moved to Kenwood here when I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually lived right outside. There's a house with pointy trees. That's where I lived, right there. So literally we're 50 yards from my house I lived in when I was in high school.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah. I went to Santa Rosa High, and there, when you live in Kenwood, you kind of get the option of either going to like Montgomery or Santa Rosa, Montgomery or Maria Carrillo was the one. But I wanted to go to Santa Rosa because of ArtQuest, because I'm a filmmaker, photographer, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I did that. And then my last year of high school, I moved to Healdsburg. So I lived up there with my family. But then I went to college in Savannah, Georgia.
That's why the phone number.
Yeah.
I was like, Savannah.
Hence my phone number. Yeah, it's a 912 area code. It's a fun conversation starter.
Yeah, I bet.
But that's where I got my cell phone. So went out there, studied film and television. Then I just traveled throughout my 20s pretty much. But I was bartending and bar managing in college. So I've always been surrounded by spirits, hence my love for craft spirits now.
Yeah.
I traveled, came back to Sonoma County, came back. I kind of used my house in Healdsburg as like a jumping off platform for whatever next adventure I was on. And I went, and bartending was kind of a great job to do that. And then I'd always find little film gigs or photography gigs to kind of, keep my skills fresh. But it was kind of funny. I had moved back from Thailand. Me and my girlfriend were living in Thailand at the time.
Cool.
And we were out there teaching English. It was a lot of fun. So when we came back, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Let's look for a, bar job. So I went and started working at Dry Creek Kitchen in Healdsburg. Started bartending there. And something happened with the other bar manager. So I was kind of forced in the bar manager position pretty early. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Put me in, coach,
Yeah.
So I started working with, the vendors more and more. And I was, when the sales reps would come in and they're like, hey, check out this vodka. This is actually made, a few towns over. Here, this is a gin that's made in San Francisco. And I was kind of blown away. I was like, wait, what? There's more stuff out there than just Beefeater or, Seagram's. So I was getting really excited and I didn't care. Like my sales reps probably loved me because I was just like, sure, I'll take it. I'll take it. It's local. It's from California even. And this was 7 years ago.
Okay.
Like back when there was so few distilleries in each state. I think back then there was maybe 15 states that didn't even have a craft distillery yet.
Right.
It was still so new.
Yeah, I recently saw your guys' post about distilleries and kind of how prohibition and its effect and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was looking at that earlier today. It was really interesting.
It's definitely changing. The laws are constantly changing. And now, now it's craft spirits are also they're going to be competing with the cannabis industry as well,
right?
Because especially in California, obviously, but at the same time, I learned that cannabis, it's not really going to affect the craft spirits market so much. Cannabis still is on its own. It might even drive the craft spirits market. Let's face it, people want to party, you know. So,
Totally.
But we'll see. It's still going to be. Everything's still happening, even with craft distilleries and cannabis, too, but we won't get into cannabis so much. But, after, I was bar managing, buying all these craft spirits, I got so infatuated by all these craft spirits that I wanted to make my own. So I built a still, which is super illegal.
Yeah.
But I built one and I started distilling in my backyard. then me and my buddy, who is a wine educator and sommelier, he lives in Boulder, Colorado now. But we worked together, and we both went in and we bought a bigger still.
Okay.
So then we started just making whatever we could ferment, So we were fermenting, just sugar water, getting distilling rosé. Somebody had a barrel of wine they didn't like. We would just take it and distill it. And again, it's not like we're selling this alcohol. We just wanted to see if we can create something palatable.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun, and I miss it actually. But also being a photographer was pretty funny. So my buddy, right? So this is the kind of the story how MicroShiner started for me, at least. We were in the back. Well, my buddy Joe, I'll go into that first. He moved out to Boulder, and he's sent me a Craigslist ad that was local in Denver, in the Denver-Boulder area, asking for a photographer to go visit a distillery and take photos. And me, I'm like in the backyard in front of the still with my laptop, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I email the guy, and I'm like, I'll be there. I'll fly myself out there, and I'll shoot it for free just because I want to do this. I want to be a part of this. This would be sweet, And then he emails me back, and he goes, no, don't worry about it. I already got somebody on there, but I'll keep you in mind for California. And I'm like, okay, fine. This guy's just blowing smoke,
right.
Fine. I'm done, dude, So I then, at that point, I was still distilling, doing stuff. And then 2 months later, he actually reaches back to me. He's like, go check out this distillery. And I think my first place I checked out was Charbet.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah. So Charbet is, distillery. They're actually a wine brand out of St. Helena. And then they actually do a spirit as well. And they have
vodka, right?
Yeah, that's what they're known for, is their flavored vodkas. And then they do brandy as well, which is very nice. Very good brandy as well. So I went up to Ukiah, visited the distillery there as well, hung out with Marco, which is the head distiller there. And then that took off. I started, every time I traveled, I would just go check out a distillery. Like North Carolina, I was out there visiting my mom. I'd check out a distillery, craft distilleries, And that was 7 years ago. And now I'm Kobe. Kobe was the gentleman, my partner in all this. He was the guy who
put out the Craigslist
ad.
Cool.
So, yeah. And he's out of, Missoula, Montana.
Right.
And it's really fun just, especially living in this day and age where we could actually still communicate and do this when we're so far apart.
Right.
It's, there's a lot of, Slack usage, a lot of Dropbox, a lot of emails. But anyway, so it's been a hell of a journey. We were a magazine publication at one point, quarterly release, and then we kind of realized that nobody's really buying anything tangible, a tangible magazine at the moment. So that was kind of a big bummer, because I don't know, I still think that there's a place for an actual magazine. So, but yeah, so anyway.
I think quarterly magazines, what comes to mind when I think of quarterly magazines is like Sonoma Magazine. And I've definitely bought the last 2 editions of those. I think I also just kind of like some old school stuff, and I like the tangible. So
yeah, no, definitely.
I understand the reality also, which is hard sometimes.
Oh, certainly. It is crazy. I'm gonna dive into the Sauv Blanc.
Yeah.
It's 2013 Sauv Blanc from Napa Valley. Ooh. Yeah, I like to go out and taste wine. Get my sexy voice on.
That one smells good.
Okay, so what are these donuts we have in front of us?
So this first donut from City Garden is the lemon. So it's just a lemon icing in their traditional vanilla cake donut.
Oh, wow. That is lemony.
It is lemony.
So tell me about City Garden again.
So I truthfully don't know a ton about them, but they moved into an old lamp shop on 4th Street, right at the kind of fork at Mendocino and College. And sorry, not Mendocino and College and 4th Street fork.
Okay.
So they've been in that spot now for, I want to say 3 years or so, probably.
Okay.
If not a little bit longer. But they are definitely the new kids on the block with regards to donuts and the kind of donuts that they do. A little bit more adventurous and with like their flavor profiles.
Yeah.
You know, they're not your traditional donut shop where you're getting your old-fashioned glazed and like your
maple bars.
Yeah, your maple bar.
Exactly.
They do have a maple bacon donut.
Okay.
So, you know, they just like play up on the traditional stuff.
Very cool. Kind of like Voodoo Donuts in Portland. Even though I've heard Voodoo Donuts, they're like too cool for school now.
We were actually in Oregon about almost a year ago. We went up there to see the eclipse, which was amazing. And but of course we stood in the obligatory line for Voodoo Donuts because we were there and you have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got some crazy stuff, and at the end of the day, it's a donut.
Right. Exactly. No, I was just up there recently, and I did a podcast at Townsend's Distillery. I don't know if you know. Are you a kombucha fan?
I do like kombucha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Brew kombucha is Townsend's tea. So Townsend's tea then moved into Townsend's Dr. Brew kombucha. Then they actually distill the kombucha and make spirits from it.
Cool.
It's very cool. But yeah, we had a whole discussion about donuts. It was pretty funny. Ray, she's a fan of donuts. But anyway, yeah, these are great donuts.
What do you think on the pairing choices?
In the pairing, I'm going to have to go with the cheese Danish.
I agree.
The cheese Danish was, because it's like wine and cheese and a little bit of sweetness there too. So that was definitely rad.
It was almost like the lemon was like too tart, I think.
I think, yeah. I might just get a pack of cheese Danishes instead of, charcuterie platter. Just do that and serve it with your next wine party. Because
there's also the cheese Danish that like usually will have like this side, the other half is like a jelly.
Yeah, exactly.
2 for 1.
Shoot, get some dessert wines going too. Might need some chocolate in there too, though, for some of the reds. Oh, Pinot though. Hold on, I'm just gonna dive right into the Pinot next.
So
What's this one on our far right, Matt?
That's a Muscat.
Ooh, okay. Save that for last for sure.
So the 2 donuts that we have for this one, the first one from City Donuts is a blueberry. And then you got your good old traditional jelly-filled raspberry here in the back.
Oh, good Pinot. Ooh, okay, I know I'm going with this one. Yep.
I have my winner.
Yeah? Which one is that?
Jelly-filled.
Yeah, I like the jelly-filled too.
I think
it's a big fruit.
it's a
lot of fruit. Goes with the fruit.
It's good.
Yeah.
I feel like the first one could have been a good match, but it needed more berry.
Okay.
Personally.
I mean, growing up around Sonoma County too. I mean, you probably knew so many winemakers as well, winemaking families. I mean,
well, so the funny thing is, not really.
Really?
So my grandfather was in education. Mm-hmm. He was the county superintendent. My mom was in education, assistant superintendent for Roanoke Park Cotati schools.
Yeah.
And our family ranch was up in Windsor, and it sat on about 32 acres of vineyards, and we sold grapes. We didn't make grapes.
Yeah.
And so more of my wine knowledge came later in life, and meeting people once I got involved in more specifically in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
So no, I'm kind of a odd duck in that regards, where I think a lot of kids growing up in the area do have those kinds of connections because their families either are winemakers or their uncle is, or somebody is. Mm-hmm. But no, my family are really a family of educators. And then on my dad's side, my grandfather owned a petroleum company. Okay. So kind of like two totally different industries.
Yeah.
And we just landed here. And my great grandmother was, she came over from Switzerland back in like the 1800s at some point in time.
Wow.
My great grandmother was born in Fulton. And then our family ranch that unfortunately was sold a couple of years ago. Gotta love family politics.
Yeah.
Was on, I think, like the first map of Sonoma County. It was called Walker Ranch.
Okay.
And that's where it was for a long, long time. But so.
That's so cool.
And it was originally like a working farm. So, and then it was a prune farm. We have like the original prune boxes that have like my great grandmother's name stamped onto the side and stuff like that. But didn't ever actually get into the manufacturing side of it.
Yeah. No, that's fun because I don't know that much about my ancestors, my great grandparents. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know that you can. Your roots are here.
Yeah, my roots are here.
Fourth generation. That's pretty huge.
I mean, and that's, I think, when I left and I like quickly realized that this was where I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. I wanted my roots to continue to be here. Yeah. And I thought it was really important to understand. I mean, it just kind of continued to make sense why. Yeah. I have so many great memories here, and so did my ancestors, and so it was just, I mean, what's not to love about it? Mm-hmm. So that's how I kind of continue to come back to it, and I love to travel. I think it's so important, but I'm always so grateful to come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So where have you traveled?
Let's see. I've traveled. So I've been to Northern Europe. I've been to Greece. Okay. I've been to the British Islands the British Virgin Islands, I should say, when I was younger. Been to Hawaii and Mexico and all of those fun things. Mm-hmm. But South America is definitely on the list. Yeah. Vietnam, Thailand, those areas are on my list. And I always will have a special place. Like, I would love to go back to Greece. I loved it. It was so beautiful and so rich, again, in culture and history. And
exactly.
I really enjoyed Italy when I was there. So, I'm pretty much like, you want to go somewhere? Let's go somewhere. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, exactly.
I really actually want to go to Montana.
Yeah, no, definitely.
like random places like that. There are some amazing places in the States that I've would like to visit and see. I've done the West Coast. I've been on the East Coast. I've driven across 40, which is not fun, but
yeah.
So
No, I've never done Europe. Europe's on the list for sure for me. Well, I take that back. I went to Amsterdam for a week.
That counts.
Recently, yeah. So, but no, really, but like you said, like going to like someplace like Greece where you're literally standing next to stuff that's thousands, well not, but super old, right? So, Yeah, thousands of years old. Yeah, that's true. Okay, cool. I'm getting my numbers mixed up, but
It's all good.
but no, yeah, that's after college. Like, I met my fiance in college. Like, she was a film producer at the time. And, well, we met in film school, and she's a killer film producer, I should say. Then we kind of traveled together. I was supposed to go to New Zealand for some reason, and then that trip fell through. And she's like, well, because you're going to New Zealand, I got a job in Coldfoot, Alaska, which is above the Arctic Circle in Alaska. And she's just like, I just want to go on this crazy adventure. I'm like, cool. And then my trip to New Zealand fell through. But I still had a plane ticket, so I went up there and visited her. And the people that you meet up there are just so down to earth. They're so because they're all just like seasonal workers, right? So, and they go up there, they work the summer, they make a bunch of dough, stack it away, then they travel the winter, or they go work another winter job somewhere. So while she was doing that, I was interning on films, doing stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? Let's do something like Alaska again. So I took my, put my bartending hat back on, and we worked we went back up to Alaska the next summer and worked on the train. So I bartended on the train, and she served on the train, and we did that. We were like, 22, 23, and it was so fun. But yeah, we drove back and forth from here through BC, a couple of times, because we did that job 2 years in a row in Alaska.
Nice. And
then we'd spend our winters in Lake Tahoe at ski resorts, working at ski resorts, and then we got certified to teach English abroad. So that's when we moved to Thailand.
Nice.
And we lived there for a year, and then backpacked around Southeast Asia for like 6 months. And so we're just kind of, and then we came back here, and then it was like, okay.
So what made you decide to like come back? Was it just kind of?
I really didn't want to leave, to be honest. It was funny because I was teaching first grade, and my fiance, she was teaching kindergarten, and it was a lot of fun. It's so great. I still keep up with some of the kids' parents on Facebook, and seeing the kids grow up, it's like so crazy. But we started out. I didn't want to leave Thailand because I was doing photography work out there as well. I was photographing Muay Thai fights and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was getting networked in, and I was meeting new people, and I was even going to Bangkok on the weekends to shoot stuff. And it was, like I said, I didn't want to leave because it was such a fun life. But I came back for a wedding. I was in my cousin's wedding. And let me tell you, after you live like in another country for that long, and you're so used to that lifestyle, then you come back, it is like reverse culture shock, like depression, like that. I was in like a slump for like a month, just like, oh my gosh, everyone has cars, like this is so weird, because all I had was my motorbike, and and we just cruised around on that. Anyway, so much excess in the States sometimes, it's kind of sometimes it's overwhelming, but anyway, so we are open for business here for those who are watching, but then when I came back, like I said, that's when I got a bar job and started getting into this, and now here I am. And Misty, my fiance, she went and got her master's degree in communication, and then she came back, and then we went to Peru together, and that's when I proposed. Nice. Awesome, yeah. And then here we are. We're getting married next month, and the days are counting down. Yeah. And I still got to get ready for Burning Man. So there's a lot on my table at the moment. But yeah, so
which one's first, Burning Man or the
Burning
wedding?
Burning Man. So that's kind of
that's actually on my list. Matt's been before. I haven't.
Oh yeah, dude, Burning Man. But no, this is my second year. Cool. So it's like I said, it's been on my list, and then
I heard it's like rather addicting. Like once you go, you're kind of like
it's
gotta go again.
It's such a cool vibe. I don't know. Everyone's there, and everyone's on the same page. Nobody's gonna hassle you or anything. But by the end of the week, you're done. You're complete. you
It's
know?
like Vegas on steroids, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. It was, yeah, you're tired of the dust and all that stuff. But like I said, it's a great time. Definitely know how to do it better this year than how I was camping last year. But anyway.
Nice.
But yeah.
So I guess after the wedding, why didn't you go back to Thailand?
I kind of, first off, I couldn't afford it. I was getting paid Thai baht. And it was a great Thai wage. But when you still have like student loan payments, stuff like that, you're just like, oh God, scraping by. And then you come back here and you're like, okay, can I afford to really go back to Thailand and then find a place to stay? And then, you know, so I had intentions on going back, but I'm also very like, I don't want to say impulsive. Like if I get interested in something, I'm going to dive in head first, you know, like I want to make spirits. I'm like building something that weekend. You know, I was building my still that weekend. You know, when I was out in Thailand, I was like, I want to go scuba diving. Okay, cool. Then like, you know, thousands of dollars later, I'm a rescue diver, you know? So I was like, okay, you don't really need to be a rescue diver. I don't know why I needed that certificate.
Sure.
But sure, let's do it, you know? And when I was here, I was bartending and distilling, and then I was like, I want to go skydiving. And then I'm like licensed skydiver. Like I decided to just do stuff. I have this thing, I want to collect certificates. The next thing I want to do is be a pilot, but that's kind of expensive. So, but, so that's, I guess, wow, I kind of went on a tangent there. I'm pretty good at that. But no, why I stayed was, first off, like we were thinking about maybe going to teach somewhere else, but we were bouncing around so much in our 20s, like Alaska for 6 months, wintertime for 6 months. I would want to stay, as much as I love to travel, don't get me wrong. I want to kind of stay there and establish roots and do something, you know? Even when I was in Alaska, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could stay here throughout the winter, do this, this, and this. And then Misty's like, no. Misty, my fiance, she's like, no, remember we're going to Tahoe. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then like I was living in Tahoe and I was like, oh my gosh, all these people are staying at Tahoe. We should stay. No, we're going to go back up to Alaska and take our free cruise. Because like when you work for two seasons, you take a cruise. And we cruised through the Panama Canal. It's pretty fun.
Awesome.
But so that was one thing too. And because when you're traveling like that, it's not really sustainable. You know, if you want to, some people make it work. If you're like, you know, Anthony Bourdain, cool. You know, unfortunately,
yeah,
you know,
doesn't always work.
Loss. But yeah, it's one of those things where you just you're kind of chasing that, and I wanted to build something more. You know, I wanted to get in my own craft. You know, become my own boss, do stuff like that.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's been a hell of a ride. And that's what, you know, Missy got her master's and now she moved back and she works for Canacraft.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know Canacraft.
Yeah, I know Canacraft.
Yeah, she's one of the executive assistants there. She loves her job. Everyone loves her and she's killing it. So I really don't want to leave. So I'm excited that she's you know, dove in head first. And this is coming from a girl who's never touched cannabis before in her life.
Yeah.
Up until probably like 6 months ago, she had some edibles. That was pretty fun. But anyway, but yeah, that's kind of my story. I mean, to an extent.
Yeah.
But
that's a awesome story. And awesome journey.
Yeah.
I mean, on that note, let's go to some cab.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, this one jammy almost.
This first donut is a tri-chocolate from City Garden, and then just like your traditional glazed chocolate donut.
Okay. Wow. I must say, these people kill it with their donuts. I just drove past them on the way here.
That was very tasty.
I'm gonna have to go with the tri-chocolate. I'm down on that one. That one's definitely more decadent, if you will. Way more.
I agree.
Gold chocolate happening.
The first one is the way to go.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just so. I mean, the MicroShiner kind of vision goal. It's just kind of, support local, support craft, and that's one way of doing it on a small scale. Is just going and tasting. Have a local cocktail, an awesome cocktail with something local. That's all you have to ask for, And because all these distillers, they all have their own they all have their stories too. They're all just passionate about what they want to do. Some of them have, beer making, backgrounds or something like that. But take for instance Sonoma Brothers in Windsor. One's a firefighter, one's a policeman, and they just wanted to start a distillery, and it's awesome. I think it's just really cool. I mean, as most everything should start with a dream. Hopefully everyone out there is living their dream and not hating life.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I have those friends that just work their cubicle jobs and they just live for the weekend. And that's depressing to me. So, yeah.
I agree.
I mean, even as a photographer, I always have a saying, I love bartending too. Don't get me wrong, I love bartending. It's you get to hang out and just chat. I mean, there's some stuff, the cleanup, the polishing of the glasses, all that stuff. That's all part of it.
Right.
But it's one of those things when you're on and you're just killing it, the whole crowd is loving you. It's a great time. It's a great feeling. It's like Cocktail, Tom Cruise in Cocktail.
Loved that movie when I was growing up.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of my favorites.
The best. I mean, I have a couple solid favorites from my childhood, and I should have never even been watching that movie as a child. But I love Cocktail.
Yeah.
I mean, I have some of my earliest childhood memories are legit playing diner in my bubble bath, where I was serving up pancakes in the corners with bubble bath, or my Fisher Price cash register set that was the grocery store, or I had the plastic muffins and cupcakes and stuff like that. So I've always loved the industry. It's always been something I've really enjoyed and have wanted to be a part of. And so this one, Poppy and Vine, was just such an easy kind of almost. I was obviously in startups, right? Nothing is ever guaranteed. And as it grows and, figures out what it's supposed to be when it's an adult, I was very much wondering if I still had a place in that. And so Poppy and Vine, in addition to thinking of what's next for me professionally, was also I wanted to start building something that would allow me to truly fall back on it when it was time to make that transition. And I was having a meeting with a friend and who's a brand strategist, and she wanted me to make this list of all of these, any job I had ever either wanted to have or had thought of having or creating, and then find out kind of what was of that I appreciated the most. And she was like, you'll notice they all will be the same thing.
Yeah.
And they really truly were, which was really surprising to me. And so then I go home and I'm literally in the shower and was like, oh, it was one of those aha moments. And I was like, well, duh.
Yeah.
We're going to go do that.
Yeah.
And so it was probably about 3 months of brand strategy and building the brand and building the concept. And then, it's only just about 2 weeks old now, or just over 2 weeks old that the website launched. So
okay. It's exciting.
It's still super new. And really, going through all of its growing pains and things like that. But it's still really exciting. And But yeah, the same focus of just like that local, what do you really want to be doing? You know, not just living for the weekend.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's, I mean, it's funny. Here's another like derailment of my story. So when I was working at Dry Creek Kitchen, still, I was bar manager, and I was still am. I'm really good friends with the catering manager, and him and I were big going to the gym, juicing, you know, stuff like that, making kale shakes, stuff like that. And we're like, yeah, we should sell this. So we both put together our savings, and we built a juice truck,
Cool.
like a food truck, but just juice. And turned out it cost a little bit more than what we anticipated. But Will Hathaway, shout out to Will Hathaway, my business partner in this juice truck. But yeah, we, like I said, we dumped in our life savings. I racked up piles of debt, and it's like 85% done. Recently, we kind of changed our path, and we're like, let's go back and just save up money. Let's do that before we accrue a bunch of debt and start a business with a bunch of debt, you know?
Yeah.
So, but if we're excited for that when it does come out, and I will let you know.
Cool, yeah,
It's a cool looking truck. It's so custom.
So like cold pressed juices?
Yeah, precisely.
Okay.
Cold pressed juice. But California is so strict with food laws, code and whatnot, even on food trucks. Like, you have to operate out of a commissary, which is a commercial kitchen. You know, you can't do it out of, you know,
Your home kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. Even though things are changing now too, which is very exciting, like cottage laws. So if you have a kitchen, this is for anyone in California, if you have a kitchen and you want to make jams or something like that, you just have to be inspected by the state, and you can't have pets, unfortunately, but you just need to check off some things, and you could start your own business from your home kitchen.
I'm a total canner, and so like that's why I just side-eyed Matt. Was like, ooh, and we have no pets.
Right, right.
So
no, it's fun. It's really cool. I wanted to get into it, but we have 2 dogs and stuff, so it's like,
yeah, that's hard.
But anyway, I don't know, where's I going?
Well, you were talking about the juice truck, and
but
that's exciting.
It's fun, but like I said, it's kind of like a sensitive subject because we've been building it for so long, and so we're kind of like, oh god, how's the juice truck coming, guys? I'm like, yeah, it's there,
coming.
It's there, but we just dove in. Like I said, when I get onto something, I just dive in. So we dove in head first, grabbed the bull by the horns, just did it. And we were stubborn about things. We didn't do some of our research. What we thought was maybe like, you know, $20,000 investment. No.
Right.
No, it's a commercial kitchen in moving vehicle. There's lots of stuff to think about. So anyway.
So this is the reserve cab, and the front donut is a guitar chocolate, and then the back donut is double chocolate. So it's a chocolate cake with chocolate glaze.
Love me some guitar chocolate. Yeah, I have a mouthful of donut.
We actually, have you ever watched the It's Alive Bon Appetit
No.
channel, YouTube channel?
No.
I highly recommend it.
Okay.
But he actually, I think his name's Brad Leone, who is the face of the It's Alive Bon Appetit YouTube channel. And he just went to Guitar, well, I don't know about just, but there was an episode of him at Guitar Chocolate, and they show from kind of like in the pod down in South America, and coming up to San Francisco and being made at the factory.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a cool, I mean, I love it. I'm a total geek on food shows.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Guitar chocolate. It's kind of that's a small chocolate brand too. They're pretty well known now, but I don't know their exact story. Like, you know, say for instance Ghirardelli or something. But that's a good chocolate for sure. So what made you move back from San Diego though? You were just like, I'm tired of partying and living in the most beautiful place.
Not exactly.
I'm tired of going to Mexico. Tijuana's so close.
Truthfully, I never made it to Mexico when I was in San Diego.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I know.
Isn't it like 10 minutes away?
Yeah, I actually was right at the border getting my passport renewed, but I just didn't decide to walk across.
No, that's funny. Good buddy of mine, he's moving down there actually like in a week.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Where?
He's 23. He needs to do it. Exactly.
I was 31.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, life had kind of changed for me in my late 20s, and I was working in San Francisco. I was living in San Rafael, and life kind of did like a big 360, and I moved back up and went to work for the Culinary Institute, went back and did consulting for San Francisco Fairmont, and was just like really looking for a change. I was super itchy for kind of remembering that I could like do it, you know? And so this job opportunity came up with the Fairmont Hotels and Resorts. They acquired a hotel down in Del Mar, and they needed a director of purchasing to go through the transition. And I was like, yep.
Cool.
I'll go. When do you need me to go? You want me to go now? Okay, I'll go now.
Right.
And I mean, I kind of did. I went down and just as like a temporary, and then they offered me the position full time. And I think from going down as a temporary to full time, it was like 6 weeks. And I was there for a year, but my grandfather passed away while I was down there, and I was really close with him. And I had a good close family friend, girlfriend of mine lose her husband, and just a lot of life was happening up here. And I was spending a lot of my free time and like vacation hours coming back up, and was like, this is not what I want to be doing. You know, I would rather just like be here and be with my people and then figure it out from there. And so after a year, I came back to San Francisco, or I came back to Sonoma County, lived in Sonoma County, worked in San Francisco. And yeah, that's kind of how I ended up back here. And I actually met Matt, my fiance, at my housewarming party.
Oh.
He came with my old roommate, and her now husband was friends with Matt, and they really encouraged him to come. And he kind of like walked in the door, and I like literally stopped in my tracks and was having a conversation with like one of my girlfriends, and like dead stopped and was like, I'll be right back.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's how I came back and why I came back, and was working and am working in the food industry. It's like I wanted to be doing that, specifically food specific. But again, just wanting to figure out how to give back to the community in a way that I know how to, and kind of honor both my grandfather, who was an educator and gave back so much to the community, and my mom, who's been in education. Yeah. But this is how I can give back, is, you know, showing off my industry and what it's doing for the community, and just how to make that a prosperous endeavor, because it's a hard life. I mean, hospitality is not an easy industry.
No, hospitality is not.
And I think that's kind of the misconstrued theory, right? Is that everybody thinks it's like super easy and it looks so fun, and it's hard work.
Yeah, you have to put on that smile every day.
Or you do. You do.
You can't.
Part of the reason why I was good in the back of the house.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm going to go over here.
Yeah. No, I'm always such a, hey, bubbly guy, you know, especially when you're bartending and you're like, let me try this cocktail. Okay, cool. Hey, you know. Not that I advocate drinking while working behind a bar, but it does happen. So
kind of like part of the industry.
Yeah, that's one thing it was getting a little draining too for me. So but at the same time, like, you could look at the guys bartending at Buena Vista in San Francisco, and those guys have penthouses earning over 6 figures a year. Like, they're killing it, you know? So you work
those are great Irish coffees.
Yeah, exactly. Those Irish coffees are so good. You got to get a local Irish coffee, but there is no such thing as local Irish whiskey.
No.
But anyway, all right. Well, let's taste this last guy.
Okay, so the last one is the Muscat, and this front donut is an orange glaze by City Garden, and the back donut is a blueberry, I believe.
Oh yeah, that muscat's awesome. It's not as sweet as what I was anticipating.
Mm-hmm.
Very dry. On the drier side, I should say.
Yeah. It smells much sweeter than it tastes.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna have to go with the orange glaze on that one.
100%.
All right, so I don't know, what did I say? Okay, so City Donut, I think, took the prize on the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. 4 out of 6 of my votes went to the City Donuts. And then 6 out of the 6 for the wines, because there's 6 here. Yeah, you know. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, pretty tasty.
Well,
little
cheers.
combo.
Yeah. Well, did I cover all your questions? You got some more notes?
I do have a couple more questions,
Yeah.
and we can make them short and sweet.
No, whatever. I was just double checking.
So my next question is, so I saw on your guys' Facebook that there was a MicroShiner festival.
Oh my, on Facebook.
Yeah, it was like from 2017.
Oh my gosh, Kobe's gonna shoot me. Now I don't remember about this. I'll have to check it out.
Well, if there isn't one, I think we should make one.
No, definitely. It's on the list. It's yeah, for sure.
Cool. And then, so what is next for MicroShiners? Like, what do you guys? What's your
our 5-year
divide
plan.
and conquer?
Right.
You know, thoughts.
Well, okay. So as for what we're doing now, we're kind of sticking to media outlets that we can do. I'm trying to. Right now, we're trying to just raise dough. Thinking about some Kickstarter and some other stuff happening, because right now it's just been essentially Kobe and I funding this.
Mm-hmm.
We do see some. We do have some small sponsorships, things like that do come in from time to time, but we're just looking for more sustainable income to really help push craft businesses and not just see. Like I said, we're starting with spirits because it's an easy way to support craft. You know, like like when you go out and you say you buy toothpaste, you know, it's hard to find that craft toothpaste brand, you know.
Totally.
But if you're going out and having a cocktail with some friends, it's easy to just ask for crafts, you know, and it's spirits are going to start tuning into craft beers, you know, like
right.
I can't remember the last time I had a Budweiser or Coors, you know.
There's a specific time and place for Coors Light.
Yeah,
it's usually the
there's
river.
There's those moments. Yeah, exactly.
Or beer pong.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even know if I'd use that nice of a beer.
Rolling Rock.
But yeah, exactly. But so that's kind of. But we also want to pursue other craft, you know, industries like you know, even music or, you know, fashion.
Yeah.
Trying to just push people, start to steer people in that direction, and then
build awareness of those categories, what people are doing.
Exactly. And then you'll start to see people start to, oh my gosh, look at this small brand and how well they're doing. Screw this cubicle job. I want to start my own, you know. And Etsy's helping with that too.
Right.
You know,
right.
So, but even then, like, how much kickback does Etsy get, you know? And then it's good because you get more of a reach with Etsy. But if you can, like, have your small storefront or work locally around, you know, in your community, have your community help you too.
Right.
And that's more important. That's really what we're trying to
build.
I mean, change the world.
Yeah.
But we're starting with one cocktail at a time, you know?
I like it.
Yeah.
Change the world starting with one cocktail at a time. So the generic question that I ask everyone that I interview is, what are some of your favorite places to drink around the county, eat around the county, and adventures around the county?
Okay, all right. Okay, well, I love any Stark restaurant in Sonoma County. You have Stark Steakhouse, you have Bird and Bottle, Bar Brava's, Willie's. Chalkboard in Hillsburg. I'm kind of biased. I used to work there. Love the people there. Good people, good atmosphere. And then, of course, Brass Rabbit in Hillsburg. all awesome restaurants, all great cocktail programs. Valette, Chef Dustin Valette is a good friend of mine. We actually worked together back at Dry Creek Kitchen.
Nice.
He wanted me to take over his beverage program at his new restaurant, but I moved on to some other things, so I wasn't able to, unfortunately. But and then, of course, you gotta love Duke's in Healdsburg. That's just it's just a lot of Healdsburg there. But yeah. What else? Hold on. There's some other good places. I don't know. I could talk about Healdsburg all day, but one place I like to go to often is Franchetti's in Santa Rosa, because it's right next to where my studio is. So yeah, it's quite the list, though.
Those are some pretty solid places.
Yeah. I mean, Dry Creek Kitchen's good, but then it's a big Charlie Palmer restaurant. It's kind of, I'm glad I worked there. I was grateful I worked there. But it's hard because it's such a, hotel cash cow, you know? And sometimes I want to support the more boutique, bed and breakfasts even that are, in Healdsburg and stuff like that. But there's some good places, so. But yeah.
So if you're not working, what are you doing?
If I'm not working, I'm working. No. What am I doing? I'm usually working on like my own projects. Like I do so much with film and television and photography. I'm trying to work on that stuff. Recently, when I'm not working, I'm usually wedding planning.
Yeah.
Or I'm getting ready for Burning Man. But no, I used to be, like I said, I used to go skydiving every weekend.
Every weekend?
I mean, yeah. So, what I would do is, back when I was bartending, a few years ago, I would go get probably like three jumps in, then go to work, then the board. Yeah.
That seems kind of insane to me.
No, it was so great. I haven't jumped in a while, though. I'm trying to get back up there soon. And then, because I'm afraid I might not be able to go after I get married, the wife
doesn't want you to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Strange.
Unfortunately, it's weird, right? It's really weird. But no, it's sick. But no, hiking. I do play the occasional video game. And
I think everybody does.
Yeah, you got to. But yeah, hopefully that answered that question.
Yeah. A lot of self projects.
Yeah.
And then some fun little adventure things.
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all of my questions. But yeah, do you have any more for me?
No, I think not. But
cool.
We should do this again, perhaps, in the near future.
I would like that very much.
2 weeks in. I mean, do like a 6-month catch up.
Yeah, a little touch base.
Yeah.
I would like that.
Definitely.
Cool.
Well, cheers. I'm going to finish this cab because I loved it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know which one to pick.
Yeah. Or we could just mix them all together and bottle it.
I mean, I think technically that's frowned upon, but...
Technically, it's frowned upon. Anyway, well, cheers, Lindsay.
Cheers.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
It was.